Okay, so I'm going to approach this problem from the very beginning and just make sure everything looks right. So we'll get rid of that. Sorry, ignore that. Ignore this. Right now, let's just work through your steps. Your setup of your matrix is perfect. Step 1, the taking row 1 dividing by 2, completely legal. That's a legal step. You are allowed to take any row and divide by a constant other than 0. That's fine. So let's make sure you did that math right. 2 divided by 2 makes 1. 1 divided by 2 makes a half. 4 divided by 2 makes 2. Perfect. Okay, next row. Row 2 plus row 1. So take row 2, add it to row 1. So negative 2 and 2 makes 0. 1 and 1 makes 2. 4 and 4 makes 8. Perfect. So now my question is going from this step to this step. How do we get there? Well, your top row looks perfect. It didn't change. What you're saying here kind of doesn't make sense. That's gibberish. And I know you know it's gibberish. The reason why I'm saying that is, what are you saying here? Take row 2 and multiply it by row 1. So row 2 is 2y equals 8, and I need to multiply that by row 1, which is x plus 1/2 y equals 2. How do I multiply something like that that has equal signs on the inside? See, you would never try and do that because you clearly know, if you've gotten this far in math, you know that's not legal. But when we're in matrices, it's really easy to do stuff like that because we don't see it that way. We don't see it written out as the equation. So this is where you made your mistake. So get rid of that. What we need to do is say, okay, I think your goal here was just to say you wanted to turn this value, this 2, you wanted to change it into a 1. So how do we do that? We take row 2 and you want to divide it by 2, which would make that into, well, 0 divided by 2 is 0, 2 divided by 2 is 1, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So now at this point, the idea here is, okay, you have your 1. Use this to get zeros above and below. This is our new pivot. So to get zeros above and below, we have to say, what are we going to multiply by? So I need to multiply row 1 by a half, 1/2 row 1, add it to row 2. But the issue here, these are the same signs, we need to be opposite. So I just make it a negative 1/2. So now negative 1/2 row 1 plus row 2, to make a new row 1, that should turn that into a 0. So here we go. Row 2 is going to stay the same. So now negative 1/2 of 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. All right. Negative 1/2 of 1 is negative 1/2, plus 1/2, that makes 0. So far, so good. So now, what's half of 4? Negative 1/2 of 4? Negative 2. So yeah, negative 2. Negative 2 plus 2 makes 0. So now we can read off our answers by saying x equals 0 and y equals 4. And I hope that helps. Let me know if you need any more.